Ladies and gentlemen, we now present George Edwards in Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
I'm afraid Dr. Jekyll is rather busy just at present. Who shall I tell him is called?
Well, my name is John Fairley. I've called several times at his house and haven't been able to find him. That's why I came down here to the clinic.
Well, if you'd care to come into my room and wait a while, I'll tell him you're here.
If he'd just let me know when I could see him.
Well, I believe I can hear him coming now.
Peters, are you there?
Yes, Doctor.
I'd say Why, hello, John. Why, what are you doing here?
I was wondering if I could see you sometime. Sorry to bother you down here, but there seemed no other way of finding you.
Oh, that's all right. Anything important?
Yes, it is rather.
Well, I've about 10 minutes now. If that's any good to you, I'm not due at the hospital till 2 o'clock.
Can we talk here?
Oh, I think so. You don't mind if we borrow your little room for a while, do you not?
No, not at all. I'll close the door and see you're not disturbed.
Thanks, that will do fine. Well, now, John, what is it?
Well, to be quite frank, it's about Margaret.
I had an idea it was.
What are you going to do about it, Jekyll? I know this might be called infernal cheek on my part, but it's far from being that.
I know.
Everyone understood that the marriage couldn't go on after that terrible business of Mr. Utterson and then your long illness. But that's all past now, and you don't even seem to want to talk about it.
Margaret has told you this, I take it?
I've had to wring it out of her. Don't think that she's been complaining, but I knew she was unhappy, and I made her tell me.
I'm not blaming her, John. I'm glad she's got someone she can take her troubles to.
You are. Great heavens, Jekyll, what's the matter with you? Are you playing fast and loose with Margaret? You've been engaged to her for years now. Do you intend to marry her or not?
Sit down, old man. Let us talk this over quietly. I know how you feel about Margaret, and I'm not going to feel resentful, no matter what you say, but it's very important that you shouldn't feel bad about me.
I can't understand you, and that's the plain truth. Margaret's the most lovely girl in the world. I'd give my very life to be in your place, and you don't seem to want her.
What makes you think that, John?
There's not the slightest reason in the world now why you shouldn't marry her. But every time she talks about it, you evade her and talk about something else. Don't you love her anymore?
Might it not be that I love her too much to marry her?
What do you mean?
Things sometimes happen in men's lives that debar them forever from the right to marry, if they have a spark of decency in their makeup.
What? You...
Oh, it's not any petty little aftermath of a bygone sin. This is something that I simply couldn't begin to tell you about. It's beyond the scope of any ordinary experience.
And then if that's the case, what are you going to do? Will this thing pass in time?
I don't know.
And you're going to keep Margaret in this state of uncertainty till you do find out?
No, I'm not going to do that, John.
Don't you understand that you're ruining all her chances of finding happiness somewhere else by holding her to her promise to you?
Yes, I understand. I deserve all your reproaches, John. You did quite right to come and talk to me about it. I'll set her free.
Don't do it if it's not absolutely necessary. I love her enough to be able to realize that no one will ever be the same to her as you. Any other man will merely be a sort of substitute for you.
I hope not, John. With all my heart, I hope that she'll come to care for you as I know you deserve.
If patience and understanding on my part can do it, she will.
Then I promise you I'll not stand in your way any longer. She's very precious to me, John. There's no one I know of that I'd sooner trust her to than you.
You know, when I came here, I felt I wanted to knock you down. Now I feel I want to take your hand and thank you. Though I don't know why.
Then we're going to be friends, are we?
As far as I'm concerned, we are.
Then take my hand, but forget about the thanks. If you can make her happy, I'll be more deeply in your debt than you can ever imagine. And now I think I'll go. I've got a big operation to perform. I'd like a little time to get a grip on myself again. This conversation hasn't been easy, you know.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry.
Well, goodbye. And good luck.
Goodbye.
Henry, dear, when are you going to take me down to your clinic again?
Don't you think you've had enough of sick people for a while? You nursed me for several weeks, you know.
And see what a good job I made of it. You're almost as well as you ever were.
You're a born nurse, Margaret, and no mistake. As a rich man's wife, your greatest talent will be lost.
Why should it be? I'll also be the wife of a doctor, don't forget. Henry, what's the matter? Why do you turn away like that?
Give me your hand, darling. Let's lean over the edge of this bridge and watch the water trickle over the rocks.
You're evading me. You always do whenever I speak of our marriage. Henry, you've got to be honest with me. I can't stand this much longer.
Dearest, I brought you out into the country today so that we could have a good long talk. It's so perfect out here. I hope the beauty around us would help.
Help? Why are we in need of help?
I've got to hurt you very much, I'm afraid.
No.
Oh, don't draw away from me. Give me your hand again, please.
Oh, what's the matter with you? Why are you so strange? You've never been the same since your illness.
You haven't thought that I've loved you any less, have you?
No, not that. Something else. Some underlying strangeness that I haven't been able to get at. What is it, Henry? Can't you tell me?
I brought you here to try. I want you to know, dear, that I've never loved you so much in all my life as I do now. And I say what I'm going to say because of that.
You don't have to tell me. I know.
What do you know, my sweet?
You're going to say you aren't going to marry me at all. Oh, why don't you answer me? Why don't you tell me I'm wrong? It can't be true.
I have no choice.
What do you mean?
There are certain things that put a man beyond the pale of decent society. They're nameless things, crimes and horrors of the night. I have committed them.
No, it's not true. Not you.
Hold fast to me while I tell you, sweet. Your father told you certain things about me. Put them forward as reasons why you shouldn't marry me.
I never believed them. Never.
But you should have. He was right. Only he didn't know the full, hideous truth.
Oh, what is this you're saying? Henry, it's because you're still not better of your illness. You used to have the most terrible delusions then, imagining you were committing the most frightful crimes. This is only part of it.
I wish to God it were. Oh, no, my darling. I'm sane and in my right mind. And I know that everything I say to you is less than the truth.
But when? How? Where did you do these things?
Oh, don't ask me for details. I can't tell you. You must never know the full extent of my degradation.
But I can't just be put off with hints. I'm a grown woman now. This is too dreadful a thing to be accepted without facts.
Do you remember what the old gypsy woman, Mother Haggerty, once told us long ago?
I remember something.
There's broken lives and broken hearts and a load of sorrow that will rest upon your soul to weigh it to the ground.
Stop it. Stop. She was an old crazy creature. What could she know?
What indeed? And yet she saw into a future that has come to pass, down to the very last degree.
It hasn't. I remember something else. She said there was the gallows sign in your hand. That hasn't come true.
Supposing I were to tell you that even that is true.
Then I'd know that you're mad.
Listen. There's a man named Edward Hyde.
Don't speak of him.
But I must, because Hyde is the reason that I've got to say these things to you. If it were not for him, well, what's the good of that?
But what has Hyde got to do with you and me?
Everything. Hyde and I. Everything that man did. Every hideous atrocity. Every crime he committed was shared in and connived at by me.
You're not serious. You can't expect me to believe that.
It's the truth.
But it isn't possible. Hyde is one person, you another. How could you be responsible for what he did?
I could have wiped him out of existence, instead of which I set him free to do what he liked.
How could you have done so? Was he so much under your influence?
He was my creation. I had conjured him up out of the pit of hell, where he belonged.
Oh, now I know you're not well. This is madness.
It must seem like that. Very well, then. Let it go at that. But you wouldn't wish to marry a madman, would you, Margaret?
Oh, I don't know what I wish. I don't want to marry anyone.
Oh, you mustn't say that, dear. You mustn't say that. There's John, isn't there?
You'd have me marry him?
I think he could make you happy.
Oh, how could you? Have you thought it all out?
I've been thinking what's the best thing for you for a long time, dearest. Oh, Margaret, look at me. Look at my eyes and tell me. Do you see anything in them but love for you and pain at losing you?
Oh, but why? Why? If I love you and you love me, what does it matter?
I've committed almost every crime in the calendar, Margaret, my darling. But to take advantage of your love and innocence and loyalty is something that even I have not fallen low enough to do. Oh, let me hold you in my arms just once again. Let me kiss you. Feel your cheek against mine. Your tears. Your precious tears, my darling. Oh, let me drink your tears.